Hello everyone and welcome again to the K-Goat Gaming channel. Today's video is going to be all about what GTA 5 absolutely needs. I'll be doing an upcoming video here on my thoughts both as a newer GTA player and also as a player who has advanced relatively far in the game, and my experiences creating a newer character and building that character up with no money. So it's those three perspectives: new player, somewhat advanced player, and how it feels right now to start with nothing. It's those three perspectives that are going to drive these absolute needs that we're going to be talking about here. First off, the NPCs. This is kind of a small bitch, but it's one that's getting to be pretty annoying and I think could lead to Rockstar losing customers. Two things with the NPCs that I think need to be changed. First off, the newer missions. The NPCs are insane, you guys. I understand they're supposed to be more militarized NPCs, like trained contractors, but the game needs to be fun and achievable. These new NPCs can literally destroy you with perfect aim. You can be dead in a matter of a second or two if you get caught sleeping or if you have a body part exposed. I mean, I like a challenge, but this is too much, you guys. So they need to be turned down to a more moderate level where there's still challenge but not complete frustration and stress. Second is the NPC drivers. I am absolutely convinced that the drivers are set at different levels of annoyance globally and probably randomly determined. But something that was probably funny and fun about the game before, when it was newer, the higher stakes nowadays with missions where you have to be worried about griefers and militarized NPCs, they need to turn the aggressiveness / dumbass meter down a little bit on the NPC drivers. Again, we're talking quality of experience for the customer here. So Rockstar, just turn it down a notch or two. Next is the phone. The phone is a great option in this game. It's realistic, it's fun, it's customizable, it's convenient, but it's outdated at this point and it's lacking. And Rockstar needs to fix it. This whole make things frustrating for the player, almost sarcastic or sardonic message, it was really funny back in the day where the stakes weren't so high, but now you have hundreds of thousands if not millions of dollars at stake with single missions, and you only have so much time in the day you can play the game, and you have so many businesses and have to jet around the entire map to get to those businesses just to see what's going on with them. At this point, it's counterproductive to Rockstar's ultimate goal, to not only get new players, but to keep them. So a couple of simple things just need to be added in my opinion. First is the ability to turn off all of the annoying phone calls. I understand Rockstar needs to peddle their product, but can you imagine being a newer player and getting all those phone calls that we get? With my new character, I was literally bombarded with Ron and Agent 14 and Simeon and Dom and Moore's Mutual and Mayweather and on and on and on. I don't care how they set it up, but there needs to be some control to us as players to turn these things down at the very least. And I'm telling you, a new player might just shut off the game after a while. Second, and I think everybody knows this, and I think everybody is on board with this, and it's that we need to be able to manage all of our businesses, the CEO, the hangar, the bunker, the MC businesses, including purchasing supplies from our phone. I understand we need to be at the business to actually get the products to sell, and I understand we maybe even need to be there to steal supplies, but we should easily be able to do anything we can do on the computers at the businesses from our phones. This would take away nothing from Rockstar's pocketbook. It's something that's long overdue and would just make the game more replayable for the customer. I'm telling you, there are several things in this game that almost pushed me over the edge when I first started, and this is one of them. And if I can be pushed over the edge, someone who doesn't mind grinding, somebody who's really, really loyal to games, a new customer is probably just going to give up. So now let's talk about real estate. We need to be able to sell real estate and businesses along with their upgrades. And I understand we'd have to take some kind of loss, maybe 60% even. And that's fine, but at some point, players need to be able to have the option to upgrade. Well, we already have the option to upgrade, I guess, but at least to consolidate their holdings and to have apartments and garages and unused businesses that are strewn all over the map, cleaned up, sold, whatever. It's something they need to give their customers the ability to do. And that plays right into this next suggestion, and that's that we need new real estate options. It is long overdue for this game. My understanding is that it's been something like 2 years since new personal properties were even added to the game. I started this game in November, you guys. 3 months in and I'm already out of options and bored with what I can buy property-wise. It's all the same. High-end apartment, cheaper apartment, stilt apartments and garages. We have so many awesome vehicle options, you guys, and a lot of those are simply for fun and for bragging rights. And that's the whole root of the game, and it should be the same with the properties. I want a mansion. I want a compound. I don't want to buy another apartment or a stilt freaking house. And I'm quite sure most less than new players would agree with this. We already have plenty of apartments. We need some newer types of properties, and they're already in the game, you guys. Mansions, compounds, farms. Open that shit up and give us the ability to have some variety. This would make Rockstar a crap ton of money, you guys, and it's so overdue. We also need some new garage options, some new garages with new designs and ranges between, I don't know, 20 and 60 cars not related to offices. Okay, and these could be part of the new mansions and properties. They could even be underground, under the properties themselves, to keep the quote-unquote realism intact. Just give us some new garages. The next suggestion, I'm just going to keep pretty short, but along with the whole new properties things, is we need some new businesses, and they already have this stuff built into the game. What about the ability to buy the bars and the restaurants in the game? The missions could be really similar to the MC missions, and they'd give us options of having just another money-making opportunity. Pretty much everybody is doing almost the same thing, you guys. 1 or 2 additional sets of other types of businesses would really make it feel like you can set up something more unique than everybody else. And this is probably the biggest or second biggest topic of this video in general anyway, and that's business and money making. So Rockstar has given us, their customers, the ability to quote-unquote make money within the game. And they have to do this, you guys. There are legal issues involved with this, particularly when you have microtransactions all over the place. But they've made it so that unless you watch videos from other players, it's nearly impossible to do this, or at the very least will take you forever to figure out how to make money efficiently. New players won't understand that buying the cheapest businesses on the outskirts of the map makes your ability to run supply and sell missions extremely difficult. And so if you just start the game with no knowledge and no outside information, you'll buy businesses that you probably spent real world money on, by the way, to get if you're a new player. You're going to buy those businesses and they're going to be almost useless and counterproductive to Rockstar's desires. It's so frustrating for new players, I think, that they're most likely just going to quit the game versus buying more shark cards. I'm going to be doing a video here in the future called The Precipice, where I talk about video game makers dangling a fine line. They're walking a precipice where 1 or 2 things could push a player over the edge into quitting or push them over the edge into staying long term. This is the main reason this type of video is even needed. This is where GTA will live or die with me, and I'm sure with a lot of players, particularly with GTA 6 looming over the horizon here in the next couple of years. Rockstar isn't dumb, so they'll figure it out, and they're using us as guinea pigs right now, you guys. But this issue is the one that is going to make or break them. So in terms of businesses and making money in the game, here are some things I believe are absolutely needed to make the game comfortable for not just new players, but it's also going to help keep players coming back and truthfully more willing to buy shark cards in the long term. Visible to other players simply needs to be turned off. This is completely counterintuitive and it defies logic. Basically what Rockstar's saying here is that criminal organizations are not just snitches, but they update every criminal activity into some crazy database to be immediately posted for the rest of the criminal world to see in real time. It makes no sense, and it's simply to grief players. And remember, that's you, the customer. But what Rockstar isn't taking into consideration here is that brand new players don't really understand what's going on here. They don't have the ability to even know they're being attacked or going to be attacked or losing money most of the time until it's too late. As a new player, when I first started, my first missions were a real struggle. Just even trying to figure them out in general, much less dealing with being griefed. And luckily I happened to see a video on how to get solo public sessions. That alone has kept me in the game. Think about that statement. That alone has kept me in the game. Rockstar needs to hear that. Had I not discovered that ability the ability to get solo public sessions, I simply would have just quit this game within the first week, you guys. Flat out. Rockstar wouldn't have had any further money from me, any further playing time out of me, and I'm someone who is definitely willing to grind at games, and I always pay when I play games religiously. I pay regularly to support any game that I'm playing, but that would have done it for me. This just needs to be turned off. That would solve a shit ton, you guys. At the very least, only turn it on halfway through a mission's time limit. But this is a make or break type of thing, and with record sales, record new players, it's time to deal with this issue. Also, they need to add the ability to sell in solo sessions. Okay? This could be limited to 1 or 1.5 hours a day, but the players, the customers, need to be provided with some amount of stress relief. When people lose $1 or $2 million sales, you guys, how long are those people going to keep coming back if they're new? And think about it, a new player's instinct is probably to make those larger sales by themselves with very little idea of how small of a chance they have of actually completing that sale. So give the ability to at least let players grind out some money is the point here. Contractor factions. This is something I have never heard anyone talk about before, and I think it's a huge solution for the biggest problem in the game. For anyone who has played this game for any discernible length of time, we all know the biggest problem with this game is the militarized lobbies. This whole game was set up to drive around, show off your stuff, get new stuff, and interact with others. There's no way to drive around now in a public lobby. Now, I actually think the militarized options that Rockstar have added to this game are actually pretty positive. It's probably the reason the game has stayed so popular over 4 years. But why buy a car if you know the second you peek your nose out of your garage, you're very likely to fall straight into some kind of militarized battle or have someone with militarized options coming after you? There's no fighting chance if you're not geared up and ready. And that's stressful for the customer. So how does Rockstar fix this? They have to keep this militarized thing going. It's what's making them money. And I know I want it. But they also have to make it so that we can have fun driving around and just having fun in general with each other. So what's the option here? I think I've come up with an awesome solution. And that's contractor factions. I think this would solve so much, you guys. Basically, if you want to use a militarized vehicle, any kind of weaponized vehicle, you have to engage in a contractor faction status. And to make this really cool for all of us, I think they could have 3 or 4 or 5 contractor factions, say Merryweather, maybe Black Flag, maybe Arrowhead, maybe Talon, something like that. And you join that faction, and the only way you can get into a weaponized vehicle is to become active in that faction. And you can only attack somebody who is also in an active state within their faction. Think about this. This sounds like utopia, honestly. And in order to end your activated faction status, you've got to disband or retire, just like with the CEO or the MC. But there's a 10-minute wait after you deactivate. This way you can't just grief someone with a weaponized vehicle and then retire and be invulnerable to return attack. So if you go, you got to go heavy and be prepared for a heavy response. Other players can go about their way and yet still have the whole PvP option, but in a much fairer scenario, much more like when GTA first started. Sticky bombs, carbines, that's all something people are used to dealing with. Lock-on missiles? Orbital strikes? Explosive rounds from aircraft? You've got to be kidding me, you guys. This way, the playing field is leveled. I think this idea is gold, you guys. And if Rockstar actually does it, I'll take some royalties. Anyway, finally, companions need to be added to the game. I have seen so many other open world type of games that have the ability to have companions. In GTA, it'd be a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or maybe just a sidekick or even a pet. But when you're riding in your car, driving around, walking around, whatever, it really adds to the gaming experience to have a companion available by just clicking a button. The interaction doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you guys, there are mods out there that do have tons of interaction options with companion type characters already in GTA. It would give us the ability to feel less alone, and again, because of the militarized war zones that are public lobbies, I think most of us end up feeling more alone and isolated in GTA than ever, particularly when we get solo public sessions. Having a girlfriend to hang out in our apartments, ride along with us on missions, having a loyal dog, or even a sidekick buddy, you guys, that would really add to the experience. And again, it's been done in so many other open world type settings. So I think that would be great. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and please share this video to other players and see what they think. We in large part are really gonna be the ones who determine where GTA 5 goes, you guys, and just as importantly, where GTA 6 goes. And if enough of us speak our voice, the developers are going to have to listen, because they have to keep this game fresh and appealing to not just older players but to new players. I personally think these ideas will go a long way toward that end. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, have a great day. I'll talk to you guys soon.